this is twice now that someone was watching this with me and when I want another one and they're not getting it. So my daughter wanted another story about Michael because she thought the girl was cute. And then my wife watched this one with me and she's like, well, we'll just wait for the next one. I'm like, that's not how short treks work. There is no next one. And she's like, oh, well, that was stupid. But I get what she's saying because this is a one-off. So for Star Trek fans, I think this works fine. But for people who aren't.
Brand new coming in.
Right. What do I care now? I just got invested in 6 minutes in these two characters that are now gone.
Right.
Because I'm not invested in the morals of Star Trek yet because I'm not.
Because you don't know about them.
I'm not a Star Trek fan.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Well, we'll see if they're gone. We don't know.
No, it might pop up, but it's not going to be an ongoing running thing. She can't tune in next Wednesday, which is part of the problem.
Well, that's true.
To me, 6 minutes was just too short. That's me personally, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear you. But what an action-packed 6 minutes it was, and powerful. One thing, too, I just wanted to see if you guys saw the same thing. I thought when they were showing the actual attacks or whatever, up until that point, I thought all the nuances and the special effects were pretty good. I didn't think the effects were all that great when they were taking on Mars. I really thought that for whatever reason, it almost would have been more powerful to maybe show, because you see, what I thought was interesting is you see people on the TV like running up and down stairs and there's fires and all that stuff. And when they kind of left that and they went to the spaceship shooting and all that other stuff, I was like, man, this really didn't look that great to me. I think it would have been more powerful had they not cut to the spaceships flying and showing the laser beams or the phasers or whatever they're using to show. And, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes less is more in those. And the tragedy that was befolding and the fact that they were watching that, and once it kind of ellipsed to, we'll call it the space flying sequence, it was okay. It wasn't bad. I just was like, it's not the quality, the production values that they've put into Discovery. You can't argue. It's just unbelievable. The effects are incredible, and they have been all along. And that was just, it wasn't a huge deal, and it's not a huge critique. I just said, that's a little bit watered down for the standards that we've been seeing a little bit. And I think the aftermath would have been, or as it's happening and you see the people running away, I think that would have been just fine. It kind of popped it into the, hey, we're a space show for a second. And I just didn't think it needed to do that. Right. That's all.
Yeah. They didn't look, they looked more Star Trek Enterprise than they looked Discovery, for sure. I mean, like the little, I guess they had the phaser shots and then they had bombs they were dropping and the bombs were just like red rings almost. It was, it definitely, I agree. It didn't need to happen. And if it was going to happen, they should have done a little bit better job of it.
Do you think that's just because money?
They spent all the money on the.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they spent all the money on the screens with no backs.
Oh my gosh. Patrick.
They're more expensive that way, so that teachers can catch people more.
Well, you always said education needed more money, Amy, so there it went.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Backless computers.
That's right. So we're okay with that.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Ken, for coming on. And where can people find you if they want to check you out around the interwebs?
Well, thanks again for having me on episode 3 on this new journey of yours. You can find me on Trek FM, co-hosting a Standard Orbit with my friends Zach and Haley. And you can find me on Twitter, although I haven't been on there much lately. Schedule's been a little busy, but at Boston SCPO.
Yeah, Ken, thank you so much for joining us and lending your voice to a great episode of Short Treks.
My pleasure. Thanks again.
Please join us on our Facebook page, UFP Earth, where we would love to hear what your thoughts of this week's episode. So, Amy, where can people find you when you're not running through a school trying to catch people on clear-backed computers?
Well, when I'm not doing that, which seems every school day I am, you can find me. Where can you find me? You can find me on Twitter at Miss Amy Nelson. You can find me on Trek FM, co-hosting Earl Grey, which talks about the next generation with my good friends Justin Ozer and Joe Keegan. So Oh, you know what? You can find me on the Facebook UFP Earth. So, yeah, talk to me there. So, Pat, where can people find you when you are not passing notes in class?
Always.
Yeah.
Always. Especially since I'm the instructor, I can pass them to whoever I want and can't get in trouble. So,
isn't it nice being the teacher?
It really is. I was on the phone with you yelling at them to stay off their phone.
I know. I do that too, and it's terrible. I'm like, okay, put the phone down.
So anyway, when I'm not doing that and being a hypocrite, you can find me on Twitter and on Twitch under the name Magic Drop 5. That is one word, and the 5 is a digit, not letters. You can also find me on the Facebook page. If you UFP Earth, if you comment on one of our shows, I will get back to you. And you can find me on another corner of UFP with Mickey's Marvels and my good friend Tribbs. I think that's about it.
Yeah. Listeners, if you haven't listened, it's really a good show. It's good. I like it. I enjoy it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, please go to iTunes and leave us a star rating and a review. That will help others to find our show, and let us know what you think of what you're hearing. At this time, we would like to thank our executive producers who make this all possible. They are Brandon-Shea Mutella, the wonderful Ken Tripp, who we had on, Zach Moore, and Tony Robinson.
Thank you for listening, and we hope you'll join us as we search out all good things.
This has been a production of MTMR Media Works.